What's up, guys? Welcome back to another YouTube video and welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is lecture 6 of our Python exercise tutorial series, and let's get straight into it. It's actually a bright Sunday on my side of the world, so that's great stuff. And I do hope that whatever you guys are learning and whatever work you all are doing, I do hope that it's coming right for you. Local tax rate. Okay, and there we have it. This is exercise 6. Develop a Python program that will begin by reading the cost of a meal ordered at a restaurant from the user. Then your program will compute the tax and tip for the meal. Use your local tax rate when computing the amount of tax owing. You must compute the tip as 18% of the meal amount without the tax. The output from the program should include the tax amount and the grand total for the meal, including both the tax and the tip. Format the output so that all of the values display with 2 decimal places. Okay, this program, nothing too difficult. Again, just some simple mathematics involved here, and we'll look at this as we go along. So, what's important for this particular program, guys, is just the figures, the values. So, tax and tip rate, if I'm not mistaken. Local tax rate, use your local. So, in my case, I think, if I'm not mistaken, our tax rate is 18%. I'm not too sure about where you are from, so you may feel free to use 18%, or you may use your place of residence or your country's tax rate. That's fine. And there was another rate, if I'm not mistaken, that was tax. Okay, tip rate would be 18% of the meal amount. That's fine. Tax rate, tip rate. Okay, yeah, that's fine. So let's do this. I'll begin. So we'll begin here by setting the constants. We know we have two constants, a tax rate and a tip rate. So let's begin. Tax rate, in my case, this is going to be 0.18. Okay. And tip rate in this so this is pure coincidence. If I'm not mistaken, my tax rate is 0.18, and the tip rate also happens to be 0.18 or 18%. Okay, that's good. Now we are going to ask them for, by them I mean the user, we're going to read the cost of a meal ordered at a restaurant. Okay, so cost of a meal. So this is easy. We can call it cost is equals to float input input. Okay, and we'll ask, please enter the cost of your meal. Please enter the cost of your meal. The user will proceed to, enter in a cost in the form of a floating point value or something of that sort. And now is the time for calculations to actually occur in the back end, in the background of our processes. So we need to compute tip as 18% of the meal amount without the tax. So this is essentially it's alluding to this cost here. 18% of that cost should be the tip. Okay, is that correct? Yes, that is right. I am right. Let's proceed to do that, guys. So this is a variable to store the tip amount. So we'll just call it lowercase tip is equals to, and we'll take that cost and we'll multiply it by 0.18. And remember now, let's think back. Yes, we do have a constant here that's already representing. So as a side note, you see that's the benefit of actually having constants in your Python program, or any program for that matter, any programming language. Constants are super useful. It actually saves us from having to put numbers in the midst of our program, because those numbers can actually make the code confusing in some cases. But as I said, people program differently, so you go ahead. These constants are not compulsory to be defined. Okay, it's just good coding practice to, at times, separate the constants from the variables in your program, as opposed to actually having numbers that show up in the code in the midst of calculations. Okay, this is all up to you though. I'm just here to guide you along. So we're going to do tip is equals to cost multiplied by the tip rate. And that will calculate or compute the tip value for that specific meal. Afterwards, we can proceed to do a tax. So after calculating tip, let's calculate the tax. Tax, if I'm not mistaken, they said use your local tax rate. Okay. Correct. So let's calculate tax on the meal. This will be the cost of the meal multiplied by the tax rate, and that will give us the tax value or tax amount. Finally, guys, we can proceed to do the total cost of the meal. So it's going to be simply adding all of those values that were calculated. We'll take the cost that's specified by the user via that input prompt. We'll add cost to our tip, and we'll add that to our tax. Okay, no need for brackets or anything in this particular arithmetic expression, because it's addition throughout the calculation. So that's good. Moving on, guys, I think now we are reaching the end of the tutorial and the exercise. So the final thing to do would be to print a message to the screen which actually tells the user of the program the total amount, right? The tax, the tip, and all of that stuff. If you remember, we actually dealt with this this is exercise 6. So yeah, in exercise 5 we dealt with the formatting of strings to display according to a certain number of decimal places that you like. And if I'm not mistaken, I should actually apologize in this video. When speaking in exercise 5 about that formatting, we made use of what's called placeholders. Placeholders are super useful, super interesting. I love the concept. I actually confused placeholders for namespaces. So that's something to actually be aware of. And my apologies for that confusion, right? Namespaces and placeholders in Python are completely different topics, and I find both equally interesting. Okay, and we will definitely most likely encounter those topics on our journey with these exercises and on the channel itself. So placeholders is what we will make use of, and we put that percentage sign followed by a dot and a 2f, in which case the number placed before the f actually represents the number of decimal places that you want, and this is free for you to use. Change it to whatever you like, but for the completion of this exercise, let's do a 2 decimal places. Let's move on. So I can zoom in a bit here. Okay, so we'll do a simple output message. The tax for the meal is, and this is our first format. What should we format in? They formatted in, okay, so there's no currency. There's no currency symbol that's specified here. I'll do a R for rands, and we'll do a percentage dot 2f. That takes care of the tax. Okay, we can drop a full stop there. The tip for the meal is, I'll do a R for rand, percentage dot 2f, and finally I'll do the total cost of your meal is, I'll do another R, percentage dot 2f, and a full stop. Okay, that's just part one, guys, of our string. That's part one. Yes, we have successfully done the formatting that's to be used. But now, what about the values that are going to actually be placed in these placeholders? So first we say tax, then tip, then total cost. So let's use our variables: tax, tip, and cost. Okay, specify a percentage sign to denote formatting, and thereafter we actually, in a tuple, provide the values that will be used for the placeholders. So let's make sure order is correct. First comes tax, so we use our tax variable, followed by the tip variable, followed by the total variable, and that successfully completes this exercise, guys. And to ensure completion, let us proceed to run our script. Please enter the cost of your meal. So I'll say my meal costed me 200 rand. I'll press enter, and that's about it. Everything is done automatically by the program. The tax for the meal is 36 rand. Tip is 36 rand. Well, yours, I don't know if it will differ because of this tax rate. So in South Africa, the tax rate, I assume they're speaking about VAT, yeah, which is about 18%. So yeah, that's why these two values are the same. Kind of a boring program in my case. Yours will most likely be much cooler because you'll get to witness these decimal places in action. I can actually change it here. Since we have completed the exercise successfully, let's change this tax rate to 0. Maybe a 0.01. Okay, no, that's a bit less. That's 0. Yeah, let's change it to a 0.1 then. Okay, that's good enough. I'll do a funky number. Let's do a 232.23. Yeah, that's more like it. Notice we have decimal values that are showing, and it looks quite neat. The tax for the meal is 23 rand 22 cents, tip, and total costs. That's about it for this video, guys. I do hope that these exercises are giving you that much needed exposure to Python exercises that will ensure you have sufficient practice and you become comfortable with the programming language. And with that, thank you so much for watching and staying till the end of the video. Do be sure to give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and thanks so much, guys. I'll see you in the next one.